Let me tell you how I found out that my braids might be poisoning me. If you're like me and you love to put your hair in protective styles for your travels, you may want to listen to this.
Potentially harmful chemicals making their way into braiding hair and extensions that are often marketed to Black women.
Human hair had the highest amount of lead of any of these products that we've tested.
Is this hair safe for us to use?
10 popular synthetic braiding hair products used for box braids, twists, and protective styles, they all came back positive for dangerous chemicals and heavy metals like lead.
People get sick, kids come out with deformity.
I was literally astounded. I couldn't believe it.
Over 70% of Black women use hair extensions or weaves at least once a year.
Recently, Consumer Reports showed that synthetic braiding hair such as this has high levels of lead and carcinogens. I purchased this hair right here to prepare for my next travel vacation, and then I saw the Consumer Report. I'm gonna play it for you right now.
Black people, we love our braids.
Would normally have braids in 24/7.
The way this hair about to be slayed, baby.
But it's the style that we've all known to protect our hair, quietly putting us in danger.
2 times it's happened to me. Very nasty looking sores on the back of my neck.
Mega companies selling us synthetic hair you may find at the beauty supply.
All of them have some type of chemical at this point.
It has been tearing some of us up.
My scalp is pretty much burning.
When I last braided my hair, I was going all the way down. I mean, I was braiding it down to the top of my bottom. And what happened was, as I came down with the braid, I started holding it in my mouth so that I could take the tension off my scalp. But as I was braiding, and when I finished, I noticed that I started breaking out around my mouth. And that's what prompted me to ask some questions.
I told you that there is a report out that said synthetic hair is dangerous. It has chemicals in it, it has carcinogens. We're talking about benzene, we're talking about lead.
Wow, I believe it because it's not real. It's not 100. It's not human hair.
We found chemicals in these products that are associated with cancer, reproductive harm, and also birth defects.
The hair containing 169 chemicals, including flame retardants and pesticides.
So when I went to visit a friend, I told her that I had put this hair in my mouth while braiding down just to hold the braid to release the tension off my scalp. And she said, "Don't you know you're supposed to soak that hair in apple cider vinegar?" And I said, "Synthetic hair that you buy from the store? Are you sure that it's able to be soaked in apple cider vinegar?" And she said, "Yes."
Anything they say, their customers, they come in and if they do have concerns, they'll strip the hair with apple cider vinegar.
20 minutes of soaking this in apple cider vinegar, and I had soot and suds all in my sink that had lifted off of the hair. And that got me thinking.
Apple cider vinegar. Stripping it.
Yes.
Is that a quick fix to get rid of benzene in hair?
We don't know.
What do you feel about what you just heard? Is this hair safe for us to use?
Just name a few that stuck out to you that were like, ooh, this is a red flag.
Some known to cause cancer, some known to be associated with reproductive harm.
Is it somebody behind this trying to bring down Black business or what?
We took a trip to Consumer Reports headquarters and the results shocked everyone. All of the synthetic braiding hair that they tested positive for multiple carcinogens. 3 of them testing positive for benzene, which is known to cause acute myeloid leukemia. 9 out of 10 of them also testing positive for lead.
It is a huge problem. It's a tough choice to make.
Consumer Reports managing editor Ginger Cole says the report was a part of a months-long in-depth look into synthetic hair. Black women in their focus groups were sounding the alarm.
Someone mentioned braiding hair, and right away that got my attention. Possible carcinogens that's used in the makeup of the actual hair, in the actual manufacturing of it.
Dr. James Rogers, Director of Product Safety Testing and Research at Consumer Reports, he took it over from there and started the testing process.
We said, number one, we wanted to test products that were the top 10 sellers in black or brown colored products, right? But we also asked the women themselves, what are some of the products that you use with your hair and your children's hair? And so we took their list, we took the top seller list, we mushed that together, and we came up with the 10 products that are listed in the article.
Check this out. The amount of lead alone detected in these products was astronomically higher than the, quote, maximum allowable dose level. Darling Flexi Rod Curls Crochet, 585% above. Magic Fingers Pre-Stretch Braiding Hair, 603%. Sassy Collection 100% Conneculawn Jumbo Braid Hair, 610% above.
There's no safe level of lead. And so if we detect lead in food, we want that out of food. Well, should we say this about this product? We think we should consider that there should be no lead in artificial braiding hair.
That is true. And the fact that they're finding lead in the hair, I mean, you got to think about it. What did we find lead in last that they've made changes to? One that pops right away to me is paint. Remember when we were children, some of us of a certain age, and you could peel the paint off the walls and it was like fruit roll-ups? That was because that paint allegedly contained lead. And so what did they stop doing? They stopped making that type of material that contained lead. We had to check a lot of things recently for lead, and if they were at certain levels, it had to go.
It says this hair product has been created, some of the most recent invented fibers. It talks about fibers and tangle-free traits, but it really doesn't tell you exactly what is in it. Do you feel like that's a problem?
Yes.
That is what we consider a regulatory black hole, because we believe that packaging should list all the ingredients that are in the product.
Speaking of which, so we already saw that the hair that I have two different types of hair. One is human, one is synthetic. What they're speaking about is the fact that this synthetic hair right here, this is Conneculawn, and that's exactly what they found. Was it says 100% Conneculawn hair and human hair both contained levels of lead that were way beyond the recommended levels that most states allow in any product. They don't have any type of labeling of what ingredients are in the products whatsoever.
We're not seeing the ingredients. It says pre-stretched, it says, it's dyed, sleek finish, easy to separate, but of course it's perfect for knotless styles, but nowhere on here it doesn't say the actual ingredients of it. And so of course you guys have been using this for a long time, but as somebody that's in this industry, would you like to see more ingredients?
I would like to see it not just for us, but like the clients. I feel like it assures them more. When you go into a grocery store, you like to read the ingredients on the food. I think we should have the same with hair.
Right here is an unopened pack of Rasta-free braiding hair, and I'm looking through it. It just says pre-stretch, free silky braid. This product partially uses fiber that helps suppress the growth of microbes, which can cause odor and itchiness on the fiber surface. User experience may vary. That's the only thing that I see on this package right there. Clean technology, gentle on the scalp, smooth on the fingers, flame retardant, hot water friendly. Hot water friendly is something that we really need to look into, because on the first investigative report that I saw, they talked about hot water use and using this hair. Now, I know this is something I've done every time I have used the hair. Is I always start my kettle, and when my kettle gets hot, I pour this, the liquid into a long cup, and I go up and down to make the hair smooth. Sometimes I pre-braid it and I dip it with a braid. Sometimes I use rollers and I dip it with the bone rollers, so that when I unravel, I have this really pretty crinkly or curly hair at the ends. And so this says that it's hot water friendly, but the investigative report tells us that hot water friendly is actually dangerous for us, because we are breathing in the chemicals once they're heated up.
We're bringing in Dr. Uche Blackstock. Small sample sizes, but still alarming findings, particularly arsenic and lead. What does it mean that some of these compounds are in these cosmetic products?
So what it means and what we know is that these compounds are linked to increased cancer risk. They're linked to hormone disruption.
She said hormone disrupted. I just started hormones. I was struggling with sleep, with hormones myself. So could this have contributed to my hormone disruption? Because I've been wearing braids for years.
They're linked to developmental issues. We have real concerns, but we know they're also in the hair, right? They're in synthetic hair, they're in human hair because it's processed, but we don't know what the long-term chronic exposure of wearing these synthetic hair or the braids has on people.
And it's often worn for months at a time. Viewers have seen me change it up often in the Black community, right? We call it protective styling. Protects your hair potentially from breaking, gives you a break from styling, and yet these risks. How exactly, though, are the chemicals entering the body? Because someone might say, well, it's on my head. What's the big deal?
Yeah, and so what's really important to know is the scalp is, we call it well vascularized. It has lots of blood vessels, and so it can absorb whatever you put on it, whatever cream, whatever product you put on it. And so the scalp can easily absorb the chemicals that are in these braids.
The reason that you see my hair silver right now and naturally gray is because my doctor, she warned me several years ago about coloring my hair. I started graying when I was in my early 40s, and so I was using hair dye probably every 20 days to cover up my rapidly growing gray hair. And my doctor said, this is seeping into your scalp. This is seeping into your bloodstream. You need to cut back on the coloring, if not stop it at all. Hence is why my hair is naturally this beautiful, beautiful cotton ball white silver color now. And I absolutely love it, but I fought it for years. And you just heard the doctor here saying that it seeps into the scalp. And that's exactly the warning that my doctor told me years ago.
Also, these braids emit off gas. Okay,
especially when heat is applied.
Yeah, especially when heated. So that's the other thing. Please do not apply heat to the synthetic hair. But it can cause pulmonary irritation, and you can inhale it through your nose and through your lungs.
I mean, I read that stat at the beginning. Black women, about 70% will have synthetic hair or a wig at least once a year. So what does this mean? Do we have to stop this style that has been in our culture for generations?
Right. So no, you don't have to stop. We're not saying, and the evidence doesn't say wearing it once is going to make a difference. We just don't know what the chronic exposure is. And so what you can do is ask your braider, where are you getting the hair from?
Where do you go to find the hair? Do you go to a beauty supplier? Do you go right to the source?
China.
China?
I don't go, but I have supplies from China. I have supply from Senegal.
Are you concerned that the hair you're buying from China, even from Senegal, you're not 100% sure what's in it?
Well, I was really concerned.
Did you hear the report about how synthetic braiding hair is poisoning Black women?
This is what I have in my head now, and this is what's been causing scalp burn.
Consumer Reports, they purchased 10 of the most popular synthetic hair braiding products and sent 2 samples of each to an independent lab. We're talking about brands we all know: Sensationelle, Magic Fingers, Sassy Collection, Shake and Go. The list goes on.
Any chemical that's in there has the potential to end up in the woman's body, in the child's body, when they wear these braids, sometimes 4 to 6 weeks, and sometimes longer.
What happened to you?
There have been 2 times in particular I've gotten braids and I've had breakouts on my neck.
She's an analytical chemist herself and has centered her own research around the beauty industry and its impact on our health. She showed me what it was like when she picked up the wrong braiding hair one time.
Cornrow braids that went just straight to the back. So a majority of the exposure to the braids was my neck. And honestly, I hate to say it, I kept the braids in. I needed to get my money's worth.
She says she hasn't gotten them since, though.
Let me pull up my human hair. This right here, this pack of hair is human hair. So let's pull it out. So this right here is wet and wave human hair. And I'm gonna see if there's any ingredients on it, as we're finding with the Consumer Reports that hair is not really listing any ingredients. So that's the back. And under this label here, it just has a little basin with lukewarm water and a dash of conditioning shampoo. This is for care. Soak for a couple minutes, wash it gently, rinse, comb it through with cold water. Let it dry naturally. Doesn't say anything. All it says is made in China. That's it. Made in China. That's it. 100% human hair. Wet wave bulk. There's tags on it. I paid about $100 for this hair and I've never used it, and now I don't think I will. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Human hair was always the go-to, so she thought.
The way this hair about to be slayed, baby.
People will defer to human hair assuming it's safer, but we did not know that for sure because we did not test that.
Until now, he and his team went to Amazon, Walmart, the beauty supply store, and grabbed human hair, synthetic hair, and popular plant-based synthetic products.
What did you find?
Human hair had the highest amount of lead of any of these products that we've tested.
And to be clear, there is no safe level of lead in anything that we consume or come in contact with. 29 of the 30 products that they tested had lead, all of them containing carcinogens and VOCs, also known as volatile organic compounds, which have been known to cause cancer. Acetone and benzene are on the list. Cadmium is on the list too. That is a highly toxic heavy metal with strong links to lung, prostate, and kidney cancers.
When you go to some of the manufacturers, they will claim that, the level of lead is under regulatory amounts. But if it's not regulated, how can that be? I wouldn't trust them unless you can find some type of data or information that suggests that that is true.
And the truth is, hair manufacturers are not sharing their data. The law doesn't require it. Look at some of the bundles on the list of offenders. Indique, the Janet Collection, Main Concept, Outre, Sensationel, Shake and Go, Yummy Extensions, Zuri.
Is there one specific product on that list that stood out to you that you would say, absolutely not? Run far away from it.
There was Y-Wigs, which was a human hair. I would say to my children, please choose something differently because I'm concerned about the amount of lead in the product.
Y-Wigs Water Wave Bulk Hair with the highest amount of lead of all products tested.
When you see the word safe or organic, do you have an issue with those words when they're being packaged, when they're being marketed this way?
I have a big issue, Justin, because as you mentioned, it's not regulated.
He brought up the popular Kaneculon hair.
I was speaking to someone about, where does it come from? And Kaneculon is a patented product. And my impression was there are only a few countries that actually make the main product, and then it's sold to other companies to do the processing, the coloring, whatever they're going to do to it. And so we know what the chemical makeup of this strand of hair is. What we don't know is how is it processed later on down the line. That's the same thing actually, Justin, about the human hair too. One may think the human hair is safer, but it too is processed. Once the women sell their hair to a broker, then that hair can be exposed to all different types of chemicals to give it its characteristics of color or texture.
I'm done with the braids. And yes, they don't look like they would, lush and flowy like they would have if I had put the extensions in. But you know what? I know that my own hair that came out of my own scalp and my own body is not going to have lead, carcinogens, and harmful things that are going to break me out and make me sick. How do you feel about what we just heard? My name is Elisa, and this is Elisa Does.